Hi, this is part 2 of the reading because my internet is a slut. Anyway, let's continue. I was talking about the divine feminine, and I was saying that this fixation she has on receiving something is this quid pro quo energy. And it's not a healthy energy for her. It's actually pretty toxic to have to get exactly what it is that you've put in, because everybody approaches relationships differently. And this divine feminine has her way of giving and her way of being generous, and the person that she is focused on has their way of giving and their way of being generous. And so this has become something that's kind of unhealthy for her and toxic. And what's interesting is it's the reason why this is the niggling feeling in her heart space, why she was willing to walk away from the masculine, because she realized that she was putting expectations upon him that were not necessarily fair, and that she can't expect him to give her exactly what she wants conditionally. So she took her love with her and she walked towards her higher calling. And she did that so that she wouldn't stay in this toxic codependent energy with this person. And it was one of the healthiest choices that she's made for herself. And it was not easy to do, and she didn't want to make that decision. Here's the Two of Swords, which is clarifying the Eight of Cups. This is a difficult decision to make, and she wanted to walk away from that masculine energy. And she didn't want to have to choose to walk away from the masculine energy. But eventually, the discomfort of oh my God! I just saw the next card, holy shit. But let me finish this thought. The discomfort of staying where she was started to override the not wanting to make a choice. Basically, the divine made her so uncomfortable that she just had to do what she didn't want to do. However, that choice was the best possible choice. And do you want to know why? Because this emperor, this power that she got back, which also helped the masculine to fully enter into his power, because she was no longer over mothering, over nurturing, helicopter parenting. Now they can have this physical connection. And the reason why I freaked that out is because in the same position, so the way that I set up the cards, I have 6 cards on each side. So I'm looking at 12 cards here. 6 of them on the left side are the masculine, and 6 of them on my right side are the feminine. And in the center position for the masculine, in his headspace, he had, son of a dick, the Two of Cups in his headspace, right? In divine feminine's heart space, the Two of Cups. In her headspace, the Emperor. In his headspace, heart space, the Emperor. So literally, this is where that mirroring is crazy, because the head and the heart of either one is holding space for the same exact feelings. There is the Emperor the divine masculine energy that has his power back, can now do the thing that he loves in the physical. And I mean, do the thing, if you know what I'm saying, right? And this is also her own passion, or what she wants to do in the world. She's willing now to find that and do that thing. And because she's willing to do that, this person is willing to do that back to her. The synchronicity of that is kind of astonishing. It's just, like I said before, when we got 3 emperors from 4 decks, it's just one of those things that you're like, I don't care how many times it happens, I'm always astonished by it. It's always astonishing. So, yeah, they're on the same page. And what's even crazier is that the next position of the 6 of Swords, just wanting to move on from the conflict, it's the fucking 6 of Swords in her heart space. So she's complete union. She thought and felt The right thing to do was to leave behind the struggle and the strife and head for calmer waters, even if she didn't know where that was going to be, because she had to tune into this Queen of Swords energy to fully release anything that destabilized her, anything that made her feel that she could not command her own empire here in this present moment. She had to release it and let it go and allow the divine to take it from her, right? The divine intervention. This card, I always tell people, if you stay too long in the Two of Swords, that's okay. It's honestly okay. But if you are unwilling to make a choice, which is a choice, the divine makes it for you, which is the Tower energy. And I said she got too uncomfortable where she was to be able to stay there anymore. And the divine emphasized this discomfort for her so that she would move on. And that's what this is. The Tower moment is a blessing, because if you're not uncomfortable, you don't go get comfortable. Somebody just said this has been the best reading yet. You know what? I agree. I agree. Wait till you see the next. I'm so dead right now. I can't believe these fucking cards. I am so glad that y'all saw me shuffle, for those of you that were here. Holy shit. This position right here, what she got in this present moment, her power back, being able to do what she loves, which for me is tarot and music, and for you is whatever creative endeavor you have, whatever that is. And the masculine being able to do what he loves, which is come to the feminine. Okay, wait till you see this fucking synchronicity that's happening here. Okay, this is to be able to do what makes her happy. Here's the sun. This is enlightenment. That this Tower moment that made her uncomfortable has actually brought about her happiness. We've got the sun and the stars here, so it's cosmic also. That she's found that she is responsible for her own wishes and her own wish fulfillment and her own happiness. And the worry that she had, that worry and concern that was coming up for her here in her headspace as her final outcome card. The reason that she had to leave, her discomfort, she was worried that her leaving was going to result in her losing something. But I don't think she should worry, because here he is. This freaking reading on this side ends with the King of Cups. The masculine's reading, the Queen of Cups. That was the last card for him. This is the last card for her. That is fucking wild, okay? So, best reading yet, agreed. Now we're starting the most important part of the reading. While that part is fun, finding out what the energy is like and figuring out where the bumps in the road are, the oracles part of the reading is the place where you receive your healing and your instruction for how to proceed this week based on the current energy. Thank you for the finger heart so much, everybody. I'm not always seeing, I'm really appreciating all the gifts and donations, but I don't always see them. But just to let you know, top gifters and top viewers will be entered into a drawing to win a free reading on August 1st. So I do appreciate all those gifts that are coming in. I see you at the end. I get to see at the end who is appreciating me, and I thank you. All right, so we're going to start that oracles part of the reading now. We're going to go back over to the masculine side of self. And we're going to look at his archetype, his guardians, his mindset, his ritual work, his spirit animal, and the theme that he needs to work on for this week. And then we'll return to the feminine side, do the same. Now, don't think that you only have one side to work on. When I give you these assignments, it is both parts of self. So it means you have actually 3 assignments, because I also do the cards for the connection at the very end. So there are usually about 3 things that you want to incorporate into your week. So get a paper or pen and get ready to write down what you need to do in order to have this reading come to its fulfillment. The first card up for the Divine Masculine, the archetype that he has to embody this week, this is the Fool card in reverse, which means he has to release using humor to wound rather than liberate, and the denial of his emotional truth. He has to release that. And instead, he needs to fearlessly reveal emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. So he absolutely has to step into this fool energy, take the leap, and fearlessly reveal his emotion. And we all know that the masculine does need to do that in order to be able to unite with what he loves or to make what he loves happen. So the equivalent of this for me is that I have to fearlessly do live streams that are solely about my music, because I'm always afraid that if I get on and do a live stream just for my music, that nobody will want to see it, which doesn't really make any sense if you've ever heard my music. And if you haven't heard my music, go to my page, please click on my songs and listen to them. And if you love them, share them, because that is what I want to do. I want to make music. I want to go on tour. I want to finish my record. I've been working on it for 15 years at this point. So fearlessly reveal what your creative side is, what your emotions are. And then helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy is really not being too caught up in people's reactions. Just taking it sort of lightly, laughing at the absurdity of caring a lot about what other people think. And in whatever you're doing, just helping people realize how silly they are. I think one of the ways, when somebody said they really love when I call people out, but in a loving way, I bring humor and absurdity into that. And I also take accountability for how I do those things too. So it's not just me accusing you, it's me helping you be aware of the ways in which you might experience some of these traits that are similar to the masculine energy, or parallels in your life where you can start to empathize with what is happening in your situation. Divine Masculine's guardian angel is supporting him in receiving his reward, bringing him peace in regards to this. So any fear that he wouldn't get his reward or that he wouldn't be able to be with the Divine Feminine, his guardian angel is protecting him, his peace of mind. And so this is the feeling of you consistently just feeling like, I know I'm going to be rewarded for this. I did put in this work. I'm coming from this gentle, good-natured place. And all I seek to do is love. And I know that I will receive that reward because that's all I seek to do. So that masculine is really being helped to feel peaceful. Like he's not going to lose this opportunity. He's not going to be rejected. He is going to get his reward. This is his mindset that will serve him this week. The good news is he already thinks this way, and all he has to do is reinforce it this week. And this says, I choose love no matter what. And we know that's true because his Four of Pentacles was in reverse in the Seven of Wands. This is his not caring what other people think, choosing love for his feminine no matter what, even if she seems like she doesn't want it. And that's why you had to leave the masculine in the cold. You had to leave the masculine out to dry. You had to not send him messages. You had to leave him there. And if you're not in that stage in your journey, it might mean that you're at an earlier stage and that you're learning that this is what you do need to do. And I'm sure you've heard other readers say that you have to release a person to come into union. And this is what it means. You have to just trust that the person you choose is capable of doing what you would do, 11:33 on the clock, in their own way. I choose love no matter what. The ritual work that the masculine would benefit from doing, so this is ritual / spiritual work. For those of my followers that are witchy followers, you can do actual witchy rituals for these cards. If you don't practice that way and you are of a different belief system, whatever spiritual practice you have, meditation, prayer, this is the work that you should focus on this week. Forgiveness in the reverse. So for me, this is internalizing forgiveness. The masculine needs to do some kind of ritual or spiritual work in regards to forgiveness of self. I'm getting the image of a person who has never been to confession or has not been in many years, actually going to confession, which is interesting because we started out with this goddess who you would tell your sins to and she would forgive you and make you pure again. So the masculine may want to go to confession if he's received that sacrament in the Catholic Church. If you've not received the sacrament of confession, I do think you have to actually go through a process to be able to do that, because Catholics are very, you have to have religious education before you receive the sacraments of the Mass. It has to do with the mysteries part of the church. So I don't know that you can just walk into a confessional, but you probably, you can, but you might want to do this in a journaling way, writing down your sins or the things you regret, and then burning it and offering it up and cleansing it and becoming pure. Doing some kind of a spiritual practice or ritual that will help you to finally forgive yourself for anything. Anything. I was talking to I'm going to cry when I talk about this. I was talking to my family the other day about something I regret in my life. This seems like the smallest thing, but I have never told the story without getting emotional. Let's see if I can do it. I had this cat, amazing cat. Her name was Pinchin. She was the sweetest, most loving cat. She was very needy, and she was a cat that would actually need, like when cats will put their claws into you and do like this kind of a thing. And after my son was born, and he was about probably 4 or so, I was living in a house in Waltham, Massachusetts, that had a basement kitchen and living room. And I was moving down into that living room, separating from my ex-husband, who was living upstairs. And so we were in the process of moving all of the furniture and doing all this stuff. We're sweaty and hot, and around the same time, my cat Pinchin had been showing signs that she probably was getting sick. She had started to pee in different places in the house, and I was frustrated with her, cleaning up after her, and just not really, because I was very selfish at the time. I was unhappy and trying to sort out my life, and I just didn't have a lot of space for her in my mind or in my heart. I'm definitely gonna cry about this. That's crazy. I was sitting in a chair. I had just moved a bunch of stuff downstairs. I was sweaty, and she was right in front of me, and she looked like she was gonna jump up onto me. And I said to her, "Don't you even think about it." Like, really mean. I was like, "Don't even think about it." And later that day, she disappeared and never came back. Now, it's likely she was sick and escaped out the billy doors that we had open because we were moving stuff down into the basement. And usually when cats are sick, they will go off so that their bodies don't attract prey or carrion. So that's likely what happened. We searched for her for weeks. We never found her. And I was devastated because that was the last thing I said to her. And I have never forgiven myself for that. So literally, even something like that, where you can, there were so many circumstances that put me in that place. But you can see, if you still have emotion over something like that, you still feel bad about it. You still feel like, wow, I'm a really bad person that I treated my loved one that way. You have to forgive yourself. You have to release the pain that you caused or feel that you caused. And in all likelihood, she didn't have any fucking idea what I said to her. She was just like, "Oh, I want to jump up." And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Okay, I'm going to go outside then." And didn't hold that grudge. But that is the kind of thing that you want to do. Write it down. Speak it to somebody, admit that you feel sorry about it, and receive forgiveness. Receive forgiveness from, I could probably do a ritual where I call her spirit in and ask for her forgiveness. Do whatever you need to do to release any guilt you have, because that is blocking you from going forward. Now, if I were going to relate this to my music, oh God, I'm going to be an emotional wreck when I say this. But I chose to go to Los Angeles to pursue my music. and I left my son on the East Coast. I still talked to him every night over FaceTime, and I saw him whenever I could. But I didn't get to make food for him or take him to the doctor when he was sick or be with him. And it wasn't necessarily a choice I wanted to make, but I had an abusive ex-husband, and that was the choice I had to make. I remember meeting a woman around the time that I chose to go to Los Angeles. She worked for Mary Kay, and she was very successful at it. And she took me once out to lunch and just chatted with me, and I told her my story. And she said she had had an abusive husband, and she had had to leave her child too. And that she had maintained her relationship with her child. But that if she had stayed, it would have killed her. Now, my ex-husband did not physically beat me or anything, but he was emotionally and financially abusive and very controlling and rigid. And I probably would not have survived that because of my terrible depression. So I did what was best for me, and it ended up being best for my family. But I always feel guilty about losing that time. So I still have to really feel forgiveness for that. Not even my son holds that against me. We have the best relationship. He's living with me now, and that's why I moved back to the East Coast also, because I did what I needed to do to achieve some financial stability and pursue my dreams. And I was able to come back and he's finishing his 2 years in school, and I can live with him now on my own terms, which is something I taught him. I taught him, you don't stay and sacrifice your dreams, your health, and your well-being to please someone else. You go and you find your strength and you build a foundation, and then you can be a better parent. You can be a better person. So I have to forgive myself for causing him any pain, because I did it so that he wouldn't grow up and live a life of pain and choose to be in relationships that didn't serve him. And he's a wonderful, amazing, kind, sweet, generous, loving person. And from what I can tell, is really thriving. And so I believe I made the right choice. But that doesn't mean I don't still feel guilt or need to be forgiven or forgive myself. And that is where that masculine energy is right now. All right, so the spirit animal oracle for the divine masculine is bat spirit. Where, oh where has my little book gone? Oh where can it be? For real though, where is it? It is not there. Or there. I want to be able to read the booklet. I'm so confused. There's really not very many places it could be. Look at all my text. Oh my god, it's right on the top. What is happening? Everything is falling over. Today's a weird day, people. Okay. This is the Colette Baron Reid Spirit Animal Oracle. I'm obsessed with it. Even though I know the meanings of the cards, I still read it anyway because she has the best, she writes the best messages. And this says, a rebirth is assured. It's number 5, which is a temporary obstacle usually that can be overcome. And the message says, after something has run its course and died or been released, finished, surrendered, completed, or ended, there is a promise of a new beginning. Rebirth is assured, just as night gives way to dawn and the bat emerges from the darkness of a womb-like cave. Bat Spirit has come to remind you that this rebirth is a miraculous one, for the very best elements of what you had to give up in the death of the old are still present in this new, amazing life forming now. This is the miracle and magic of rebirth in every aspect of your life, including the rebirth of faith in your ability to establish new and healthy relationships. Bat Spirit reminds you that at present, you are in unknown territory. It may feel as if you are lost. However, you are called to trust that your intuition will be a reliable guide as you give birth to something new and unfamiliar. Bat Spirit has listened in the darkness of night and has heard all your hopes and dreams, your fears and worries, and assures you that this new version of your dream, this move from darkness into light, from lost to found and death to rebirth, comes to fruition with love at its core. Bat Spirit asks you to trust that what seems to have died is actually shape-shifting into something even more meaningful and wondrous than before. If you feel you are in the dark, know that come morning all will be revealed and things will be in a new form that is right for you. That's a beautiful message for the masculine. What's up, Buttercup? What do you need? What do you need? My puppers. We're almost finished. Can you lay down? Can you lay down? Good girl. Okay. Let's move over to the divine feminine side of self. Wow. So the masculine... Oh, I'm sorry. We missed his theme. It's interesting. This was his theme that I pulled if you were in the collective reading yesterday or maybe Saturday night. It is the Eight of Swords and it says interference. So that masculine energy has got to work this week on healthy boundaries, on anyone that would get in the way of what he wants to do. He just has to put up a boundary and not let that energy interfere. Any thoughts that could interfere with him being able to go after what he desires, he's just got to put up a boundary and be like, I do not entertain any thoughts of failure or defeat in this regard. I will be successful. I will be able to move to this new shore, even if I'm uncertain about it. So Divine Feminine, the archetype that you need to call in to embody this week is the archetype of the thief. Good morning. Thanks for joining. The thief sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. So this is so important because we saw from the feminine's reading that she was most afraid of her decision to walk away from the masculine was somehow going to cause her to lose the masculine. But this is showing you that there is potential wealth within you that can never be taken away. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the human person can never be taken away, but the unconditional love can never be taken away. The human person absolutely will be taken away, I promise you. There's no one immortal that I know of yet, unless you found a vampire. And if you did, that's interesting. Call me. I want to hear all about it. It sounds sexy. But for sure, this potential wealth within you, your feelings of unconditional love, everything you've learned, everything you've gained, that can never be stolen. Your guardian angel is here to support you this week in commitment. And if you're like, well, I don't need help, I want to be in a committed relationship, that's fine. I'm proud of you. That's good. Congratulations. But are you fully committed to pursuing your passions? Are you fully committed to taking care of your health and well-being? Are you committed to maintaining healthy boundaries and saying no when you mean no and yes when you mean yes? Because those are all commitments that you need to make. We don't just make a marriage contract. That is not the purpose of your life. That is not your mission. You were not a cum dumpster that was put here for men to serve until they died. That's not what the feminine energy is about. That's not your purpose or your meaning. Just to produce progeny. Even if the government doesn't agree with that, you are not a machine or a vessel for other people's life. You are your own life. And you are meant to experience it in its fullness. And if you only experience it through relationship, you are not experiencing the fullness of your life. You are experiencing a tiny sliver of what was intended for you. Please know that. So keep your commitments to yourself this week. If you've committed to continuing on your path towards your higher calling so that you can find your own power and do what you love, then keep that commitment. Keep that commitment. Do not break that commitment to yourself. When we commit to somebody that we love, what we're committing to is not a person. We're committing to the relationship that is a part of our lives. We're committed to maintaining that relationship. And we are committed to maintaining a relationship with ourselves so that we can keep that commitment. That's what marriage should be. And if it's not that, you're doing it wrong. This is the mindset you already have, and you're just being called upon to reinforce it this week. You already know this. Your fearless freedom lights up the world. So when you do what you want to do, you show others that they are free to do that as well. Nothing, no one can stop them from having this freedom, which is the thing about the current situation that's happening. While it's true that you can now be criminally prosecuted for, I don't even want to talk about it. While that's true, still, not even that criminal prosecution actually takes away your freedom, because you can defy laws that are not valid. You can defy laws that you reject. There may be consequences, but you still can defy it. Like any state that I go to that you're not allowed to partake in plant medicine, fuck you. I'm going to partake in plant medicine because I don't fucking believe in your laws. Laws are created by fucking people. They do not get to tell me what to do. I am not one of these people that's like, oh, did you make that rule up? Do you think I give a shit? If a rule resonates with me, I'll follow it. If I'm like, you know what, I'm going to use my signal light because I really don't want to fucking kill anybody, I'm going to stop at the stoplight because I know that will probably prevent me and the people around me from dying. I'm not going to drink when I drive because that's how my Aunt Dawn was killed, and I don't want to do that to anybody else. There are laws I will obey because they are in alignment with me. But if you make a law that is not in alignment with me, I don't give a fuck. Because I am free. I don't need a country that represents freedom to give me fearless freedom. Fearless freedom is doing shit that you believe in without fear. It's like, okay, you want to arrest me for that? Watch me make this a platform. Watch me change the world from prison. Fuck you. So every single woman that just got told this bullshit, that is not a law you have to obey. And there are many, 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 many people who will rush to your aid so you don't have to obey that law, who will protect your health and wellness. I just saw somebody actually that is a lawyer in Texas, in Harris County or Harrison County, something like that. I reposted it. He will represent you for free. He will represent you for free. There are people out there that will help you maintain your fearless freedom. So they might have passed a decision that is out of alignment with most of the country, so don't obey. You put yourself before man's laws, as long as they are in alignment with and it harm none. And that is your decision. You get to decide where harm is. That's not on anyone else. And to emphasize that, you have a ritual right now. This is the spiritual work that you're called to do this week. Freedom. How? What are the odds? Freedom. You are not caged. This cage is an illusion. It's an illusion. It is a step back for us in this country, for sure. But it's still an illusion. It's from religious extremists who have infiltrated our government through money. And it allows more control, period. But it's an illusion. So do something ritually this week that emphasizes your freedom. She's holding something in her hand that's glowing. You might want to do a candle magic ritual. Breaking any bonds you have to having to obey any laws that do not apply to you because they're out of alignment. Protection rituals. Know that you are safe and protected to make up your mind and make your own choices. You want to release, because we're talking a lot about how we're not free, but that's not true. You're always free to disobey. You're always free to disobey. You are not a slave. You are not a slave. And there will be people who will help you achieve this freedom. Koi fish spirit is coming out today, the protection message of there is always enough, which makes a lot of sense because Divine Feminine was worried that her decision to go after her own freedom, her own autonomy, her own power would leave her alone because there wouldn't be this person that she wanted. But you're being told right now, there is always enough. Are you feeling a sense of scarcity, afraid you will not have enough and not be enough to meet the challenges you face? Whatever, this is also page 111, by the way. Whatever your outer conditions, they are temporary and reflecting what was set forth in the past by some old ass white men. Koi fish spirit is your ally in changing those conditions by transforming your inner beliefs about scarcity and plenty. Perhaps you have suffered a loss or are afraid you soon will, or you have been scraping by and feeling there are simply no opportunities available for you to better your circumstances. Koi fish asks you to find prosperity within you by connecting to spirit through spiritual practices. Spirit wants to remind you that your natural state is one of abundance. Remember all that you have to offer so that you can generate your own opportunities, love relationships, and even more. Even if you feel you have little to give right now, find it within you to give to someone else, even if it is just a few encouraging words, a smile, or a helping hand. Your action will remind you that you have more than it appears. More gifts, more strengths, more wisdom, more abundance. As you give to others, your own sense of prosperity grows, and your outer conditions begin to shift in an alchemical reaction. Prosperity and love are yours to receive, experience, and enjoy. Believe it. Thank you, everybody who's giving me likes and gifts. I'm seeing 14.6K likes. That's a lot. Thank you so very much. And just a reminder, or to let anybody know who has just arrived, the top gifters and top viewers will receive, top 5, will receive an opportunity to win a free reading on August 1st. The Hermit. This is your theme this week. Who hates this theme? Okay, I'm sick of the Hermit. But but at the same time, I was just saying this yesterday when I was doing a live stream before, there's a part of me who climbs in bed at night with my laptop or whatever, eating the chocolate that I put in the cupboard over there, and then I eat right before I go to sleep because I want to go to bed happy. And I'm just like munching on my chocolate, watching my true crime documentary, and it dawned on me a couple nights ago. I was like, trying to imagine my person wanting to watch a true crime documentary with me in bed. I don't see that. Maybe, but I feel like that is not what they would want to watch. I feel like they would want to watch like an old movie, like a black and white movie where I would be like, oh, this is perfect because I'm going to fall asleep within the first 2 minutes of this movie. And then the next day they're going to be like, oh, I just love this film so much because of this, that, and the other thing, and I'm an elitist. And I'll be like, cool, well, I'm going to watch a true crime documentary when you go to work today. Like this. I just was enjoying my independence, my freedom. I was like, as much as I really would like physical companionship, support, shared goals, everything like that, I can also say that I do really enjoy my own company. And this is something that has taken me a long time to understand, because I will say I'm a person, I would say I'm definitely an introverted extrovert. Like I'm like la, 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 at the party, and then I go to the bathroom and I'm like, I need to be alone and I need to have my own space. But I didn't realize for so long that feeling I had of loneliness was really not about another person. It was a feeling that when I was alone, I didn't like being there. And that's different. That's not about not liking being alone or being by yourself. That's not liking who you are. And when there's no one else around to distract you, you're suddenly reminded, hey, I'm still not doing what I said I would do. I still didn't pick up the shit in my room that I really want to pick up so it looks better. I still didn't make that food that I was planning to make. I still didn't go on that walk I wanted to take. Nope, that, I don't want to think about that, so I don't want to be alone. I'm going to fill up my hours with somebody who's going to distract me from this feeling. So I have learned over the years that while I want space and time and being able to be on my own, so is my person. My person definitely has hermit energy. That ultimately I wasn't really truly learning that the reason that I wanted to be in a relationship was because I wasn't super stoked about being alone with the person who I was. And that's what the hermit journey is about. It's about going within to find the light and bringing that light out. And then when other people see that light, usually you share and connect with them. So you're not always alone, but you have to be alone to find that light. And this is just, this isn't a card that says your theme is that you have to be alone this week. This is a card that says your theme for this week is understanding what your hermit energy was for, and whether or not you really still need it, or if you are ready to let it go because you now do really enjoy your own company. And you really do find that when you go within, you see light instead of darkness. All right, we're at the end of the reading. So this is the final archetypes, it is archetypes, but it's all the cards I just did for masculine and feminine, but it is for both of you together. It applies to both parts of self and what both parts of self really need to improve, work on, or need support in regards to. Before I get there, let me just make these few announcements. I'm also recording to YouTube at the same time, which if you didn't know, if you just got here and you're like, oh, I wish I saw the first hour and a half, 45 minutes of the reading of this 2-hour reading. Don't despair. You can go to my Tuned In Tarot YouTube page and start watching part 1. Part 2, I had to record separately because my internet connection, I think I referred to it as being a slut, was not working well. And so I had to record this part 2, which I will be uploading. And so it'll appear a little bit after the first part. But the first part is over an hour, so I'm sure you'll be able to have watch that in its entirety, and then when it's done, part 2 will be ready for you. So you can go and see it there if you want to see the rest of the reading. If you would like personal readings, I do feel very hungry right now, so I don't actually think I'm going to be able to do personal readings after this, which is a bummer because I really do need to increase my abundance today. I have payments due tomorrow. I had a financial setback last week, just something unplanned, and I really want to be able to stay current with my car payment, and I'm a little bit short of that. So if anyone would like to book a personal reading, today is the day. But if you do, please use the PayPal as your checkout option because my Wix payments is screwy. That is what was going on with the financial setback last week. It's just not my bank account that my Wix payments works with is not working. And if you pay that account, it will pay off a debt that I have, but it won't be immediately available to me. So please choose PayPal at checkout for this next couple of days, just to say a week, just because I think it'll take that long for this. There was an automatic thing that was triggered because I didn't receive a piece of mail. And I could have stopped this from happening because I legitimately should not have received a bank levy. I had reason to not receive that, but that's what happened. So until that's fixed, all of the payments I receive, if they don't come through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, I can't access them. So if you need a reading, now is the day. Please book one this week. I would really appreciate it, or book it for the future. You can also just make donations at the PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App buttons that are at my website when you click any of the links to go there. I will be back to do personal readings. Since I am not able to do them now, it is likely that I will come on later tonight, and I for sure will be here on Wednesday morning, and Wednesday morning will be almost entirely devoted to personal readings. The first half hour I will spend doing an extended Tell Me Everything reading after the readings I post that morning. And that is the next announcement, which is when you'll see me again. I have tomorrow off, so if you email me or if you book a reading and don't see an email come right away, don't worry. Either myself or my assistant will get back to you by Wednesday morning, and you'll see that it's all squared away and everything's fine. And then Wednesday morning, I'm here from 7 to 9 on TikTok doing live reads and the extended Tell Me Everything. Thursday, I do full-length Tell Me Everything spread on TikTok. And then members can watch the replay. Friday, I do Learn Tarot and Divine Check-In. That's also available for members to watch the replay. To become a member, you click the link in my profile. It is only $3.33 a month. There's 30 people in this room right now. If 30 people ended up becoming a member, that would be like half my car payment. So like that, it's really helpful. It seems like a small thing, but it actually turns out to be a much larger thing the more people that become members and do support me there. So I appreciate all of you that already do that. The other way to help me is to share, like, subscribe, tapping the screen, which everybody has been doing like fire today. We have a lot of likes. Thank you so much for that. Sending gifts, letting TikTok know you want me around. TikTok makes money from those gifts. You know, I was thinking about it. The amount of money TikTok makes for me, and maybe they're going to take me off after I say this, but I just want to point this out because I think it's interesting. So I'm a content creator and I create something, right? And TikTok broadcasts it. So TikTok is like a broadcasting company, like a radio station. So the way that these broadcasting companies pay us now, YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, would be the equivalent of this. It would be like if I made a song, right? I paid for it, I produced it, I performed it, I wrote it, I created, and I'm entitled to mechanical royalties and all that stuff, right? It would be as if every time the radio station played my song, it would take 75% of my earnings for the song. Instead of getting advertising revenue because my song is on their station. So how did that happen? And that's crazy. But I do appreciate all the gifts anyway. And if TikTok likes me, then they'll let me stay here. And that brings me to this. I happen to see the FCC is starting to get its panties in a bind over TikTok and spying because they care about privacy. Privacy for your internet and your phone, but not privacy for your womb. But anyway, I digress. FCC has got their panties in a bind about it. However, I found out that Facebook made a huge donation to the Republican senator who actually got the FCC commissioner to start to have a fit about this. So if you're wondering why it's happening, it's because Facebook isn't getting anybody to go on it anymore because it's the worst algorithm that has ever been fucking invented, and that has polluted Instagram and turned Instagram into a shit show. But what that means is, if for some reason my TikTok account is kaput, then you'll want to make sure you follow me on my Instagram pages and on my YouTube, because that will be the only way I will have to make personal readings, etc. So if something happens to TikTok, just make sure you're following me on everything, so that you'll be able to still see my readings, because I'll still be doing them. I just won't be able to do them on TikTok, which really blows because that's where all of my followers are, since the algorithm for Facebook and Instagram doesn't allow anybody who actually follows me to see the content they chose to follow. I have an app under development that is for spiritual stuff only, and it's cool, and I hope that it will somehow go out into the world soon so that we can avoid these stupid huge corporations that suck assholes. Okay, so that's all my whole speech for today. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Let's finish this reading. I'm seeing people following me on Instagram already. Thank you so much. When you go there, you'll see that it's my Pearl and the Prayers Instagram. That's my music. There's also a link right there that says @TunedInTarot, which is also my tarot account. So you can follow both of those and have updates for both parts of my career. Let's get the final archetype for the divine counterparts. It is the guide energy. You're in the light attributes of this energy, which means you're already sort of doing this. You are really understanding the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And both of you are in this energy. So you're both acting as guides for one another. And it sort of looks like the Hermit, right? With the lantern. And you're gaining this wisdom. So all this time that you've spent alone, it was just like my YouTube kept telling me. The connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting, right? While that was happening, you were learning the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. All right, let's continue. So your guardian angel that's here to help you, I think we'll all be relieved, is going to help you with sleep. So if you've not been sleeping enough, it's really going to help you for this week to get enough rest. If you have been sleeping too much, not awakened, it's going to wake you up. I'm seeing here, I'm thinking like sleeping like a baby type energy, because you are finally feeling like what you desired is here, or you just trust it, you know it, you're just able to sleep because you're like, oh, this is happening. That's the energy I'm getting. Alrighty, this is a mindset that you have to cultivate, which means you are not currently really believing in this. It is the universe has your back, which is actually this deck itself. And look, it's the owl coming here again. So you need to tune into your divine wisdom and trust that the universe absolutely, positively has your back. The American government might not have your back. Your parents might not have your back. Some of your friends might not have your back. Your person right now might not have your back, but the universe does. And that's why you're going through this experience. It's not so that you can find your perfect soulmate. I wish it was. It would be like a Disney movie. It would be so sweet, and we'd all have very big eyes and very small waists. But unfortunately, it's not a Disney movie. Disney is meant to inspire us. Stories, romantic stories, are meant to inspire us, but they are archetypal. They are about journeys. They are about the imagination and the unconscious. Reality is trying to bring the imagination and the unconscious and work in the clay. And it's not meant to be easy or simple or straightforward, because honestly, we would be very bored. We wouldn't really enjoy ourselves that much. We actually really do enjoy challenges. And if you don't believe that, why do Sudoku puzzles exist? Okay, why do people do math for fun? Obviously, they like to be challenged, because who the fuck wants to do math for fun? I even like Sudoku, and I don't even like math, right? We enjoy puzzles that need to be solved. And in fact, if you're like, my life is always a wreck and I always am trying to problem solve, it might be because you're actually a problem solver. You're really good at that and you enjoy it. And you might not want to admit that to yourself, but you might actually be creating problems for yourself to solve. My ex-husband is like that. 100%. He loves to, his job at work for years, when he first got his job, he was literally called a problem solver. I was like, are you fucking serious? That must be your happy place, because you love that. He loves logical things, right? He likes to logically solve puzzles. It turns out he's logical to the point of irrationality, and doesn't have empathy or feelings. But he's good at solving problems. So you have to admit that there are certain things that you're doing right now that might be creating problems for you to solve. And if you don't like all the challenges you're experiencing, you're honestly in control of a lot of them. You can make your life easier in a lot of ways. And you can also embrace that you kind of like having to get answers. And this is actually the ritual work for this week. Answers. So this, I think, is, if you're somebody who works with cards or divination of any kind, this is sort of tuning into your own power to get your own answers, not relying on me or anyone else, but just really knowing that you know the answers to these questions. Sometimes, though, you don't want to face them. That's what I'm for. I'm like, tough love to a certain extent. And I'm cuddly while I do it, like I'm not so mean, but sometimes you have to face that you are the person who is creating the problems you are experiencing, which is not comfortable. Did I lose my animal spirit oracle? I don't see it. I'm just going to grab this one. Wombat spirit. Be at home. So this is definitely this energy of feeling insecure and needing to feel secure. This is 68. Burrowing deep into the ground, remaining safe, sound, and well fed with family, which is what I'm doing right now, is a special trait of the wombat. Home sweet home is always available if you recognize that well-being is the truth of life. Wombat Spirit reminds you that to be truly at home in the world, you need to find comfort within your own skin. You do this by accepting all your experience without judgment through a deep honesty and love of life. When you feel the freedom to be yourself, you can begin to truly feel at home in your life with your family and tribe. Right now, you're in a beautiful place where you can hang up the coat of your identity and settle into a true sense of home and well-being, understanding that all is well. Everything you do from this place rings true in harmony with spirit. So together, you are home. You are home in one another. And your final theme for this week, and the message that I will leave you on for today, is the Nine of Swords, which was really Divine Feminine's energy was dealing with it. But this is for both of you. So basically, this is praying for what you don't want. And praying for what you don't want sounds like this. You have a dull moment during the day. You don't want to be alone with yourself, and so you call your friend. And you're like, guess what? My masculine didn't do yet. My masculine didn't communicate with me yet. My masculine never communicates with me. My masculine is too afraid to communicate with me, right? Do you call your friend and say, you know, I feel that my masculine has really shifted energy and is going to call me today? No, you don't, because you don't want to disappoint yourself because you're afraid and worried that he won't. So rather than talk about what you don't want or fear and worry what you don't want, I want you to wake up from the nightmare. And your guardian angel is here for the sleep angel, which is absolutely going to help you from this. This is a nightmare of problems that are being caused by the way that you are thinking. And the solutions are available to you already, because every problem comes with a solution. So go into that energy of answers and find the solutions to the things you're worried about. If you're worried about someone not contacting you, the solution to that is to either, number one, contact them yourself. If you don't feel that that is a good idea, and I don't personally feel that that is a good idea for many of us right now because of how we really do need to leave the masculine energy sort of to do his own thing. The masculine energy, of course, might want to contact us himself. But if you don't want to contact them directly, then you want to write down the communication that you want to hear. What do you want to hear? I certainly want to hear my masculine say, hey, how are you? How are you? I've been thinking about you a lot. I've been thinking about everything that's happened. I want to say I'm sorry for not calling first. I want to tell you that I didn't do that because of anything that was lacking within you. I had a lot of obstacles that were in front of me, and I knew that I needed to overcome those obstacles so that I could speak to you with a clear mind and a clear heart. But I want to tell you now that you mean a lot to me, and I want to keep communicating with you consistently. And I don't want to disappear, and I don't want to run away. And if I start to feel afraid of that, I'm going to tell you about it. Me telling you that, me expressing that to you right now, is the kind of thing that you need to do. If you are worried about receiving communication, write down the communication you want to hear instead of continuing to think about what you won't hear. If you write it all down and you're afraid you'll never hear it, then you know that the thinking you have to change is about whether or not people are open and honest with you, or whether people choose you, or whether people are actually apologize. There's all kinds of things that you might need to shift your beliefs about, and you'll figure it out once you write down what you want to hear. And when you read it, if you start to feel squirmy, like, oh, no one would say that to me, that's what you need to go clean up. Wake up from the nightmare. Do not let your thoughts keep you stuck, because the next card after this card is the 10 of Swords, which is where you're completely stuck. Your thoughts have completely ended whatever opportunity you wanted to have. Now, the good news about that is you can you can get up after that. You can rebirth after that. You can find a new way of looking at things so that you won't be stuck anymore. So it's not a huge deal if you can't figure it out overnight. But it is something worth trying. All right. This was the longest reading that I have done in a minute. Actually, I don't think so. It's only 12:19, so that must mean it's about as long as it was last week. But I am kind of really, really super hungry right now. I should have eaten something earlier, but I didn't. I wasn't overly hungry. So I'm going to go, but I really want to be able to do personal readings for people. So I'll come back tonight. I don't have a live event currently planned or a specific time. But I would guess it would be later this evening. So if you want a personal reading, you can hop on later tonight. And I will be doing readings for $11, $22, and $33. Then if you want to book a personal reading, click the link in my profile. Again, please check out with PayPal for now. I'm frozen. I'm definitely frozen. I'm back. Sorry. I got frozen for a minute. I was saying, if you do end up booking a personal reading or sending a donation, just make sure you use PayPal for checkout or Venmo or Cash App for donations here so that I have access to fucking storage. So annoying. I'm going to sign off. I will see you all later today. My connection is not working and I don't know if you can even see me now, but have the best day. Talk to you all soon. Nothing is